As part of the previous lecture, we have registered new connection with newly created application database and user. Now it is time for us to execute the scripts to create tables and also load data into the tables. First, we need to make sure we start with the query tool. Once we click on query tool here, then we should be able to click on this to open the file. You need to make sure you are in the right folder where the repository is set up. No matter which repository you are using, if there is a data folder, that data folder will contain retail.db folder. As part of retail.db folder, you will be finding two scripts. One is create_db_tables_pg.sql. The other one is nothing but load_db_tables_pg.sql. The script which starts with create have the commands to create required tables. The script which start with load have commands to load data into the respective tables. First, we need to make sure we run this because this is dependent on this one. Let me double click. You can see the script is opened here. Before running this, let's make sure we review the connection details. You can see that it is connected to appropriate database. Now we should be able to click on this to execute this script. Even though you are seeing only one message here, it have actually executed all the commands in this script. You can confirm whether all the tables are created or not by expanding this one. Then you have to expand schemas. As part of schemas, you have to expand public. Once you expand public, then you have to make sure you expand tables. You can see all the 6 tables here, which means when we actually click on this, it have executed all the commands in this script. As of now, we have executed only the commands in this script. It have only created table statements. Hence, the tables are created, but tables should not be having any data. If you wanted to validate, you can right click on one of the tables, then go to view or edit data. Then you should be able to click on first 100 rows. You can review the details here. You can see that there is no data in the table. Let's make sure we close this. Let's also make sure we close this. You can click on don't save because we haven't made any changes to this script. Now we should be able to open the other script to load the data into the table. To get started, what we can do is we can right click on this database, then click on query tool. Once query tool is opened, then we should be able to click on this. Then we have to click on the script which we wanted to execute. In this case, it is nothing but this one. It is a big script and hence it will take some time to actually load into this query editor. Now the script is loaded into the query editor. We should be able to click on run here to execute all these commands. Even though we are able to see some commands here, still the script is being loaded because it is in few MBs. It will take some time to load completely. In my case, it took some time to load because the size of the file is 10 MB. If you have low-end system, it might take a lot more time for you. Sometimes you might even run into out-of-memory issues. In case if you are running into any issues, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be able to support you to set up the dataset by having a live session with you. That being said, now we should be able to click on this. It will take care of executing all the commands in this script. Again, it will take some time because the size of the script is big. Let's wait until it is completely executed, then we'll take it further. Once it is executed, make sure to close the script so that your system doesn't take too much of memory to keep the script live. That being said, now it is time for us to validate to see if the tables contain data or not. For that, you can start with databases here. Then you have to expand this database. As part of this, we need to make sure we expand schemas. Then we have to make sure the public schema is expanded. Then we have to make sure we expand the table list. Then we should be able to right click on the tables and then we should be able to say view or edit data, then first 100 rows. It will actually launch SQL editor and then run query to get first 100 records from the table. You can see the query details here. Now you should be able to see the data. In the similar manner, if you wanted to review data for any other table, you just have to right click on the table, then say view or edit data, then first 100 rows. Also using SQL editor, you should be able to run relevant commands to validate whether tables have data or not. We'll get into those details in a moment. You can see the output related to query on orders table, which is set up as part of this lecture. Now let's make sure we collapse all these things. Also, let's make sure we close all the scripts. Now let's right click on the database, then say query tool. Once the query tool is launched, we can come up with count queries on all the tables to see if all the tables contain data or not. I'll start with departments. Let me say select count of star from departments. Make sure each and every count query is ended with semicolon, it is mandatory so that we can have multiple commands in one script. Now let me hit enter. Let me specify the next table, which is nothing but categories. Then next one is nothing but products. Then next one is nothing but customers. Then we have orders as well as odd items. You can see count queries on all the tables here. Let's select one query at a time and then click on it to run only that one query. You can see the output for this query. We have 6 records in departments table. In case if the query is taking too much time to run, then let's make sure we copy all these commands in this query. Then let's make sure we restart pgadmin and then we'll take it further. The reason why it might be taking too much of time is because of we have loaded big script to set up the dataset into the tables. Now we should be able to launch pgadmin once again. Once pgadmin is launched, then we should be able to paste the commands which we have copied into SQL query script, and then we should be able to run the commands. This time the commands will run a bit faster. Here we need to make sure we enter master password. This is master password related to pgadmin. Let me specify the master password here. Now let me expand this. Let me make sure I expand this. Let me make sure I right click on this and then say query tool. Now let's make sure we paste the commands which we have copied earlier. Now let's select one command at a time and run it. This time you see it have returned the result immediately. Like this we should be able to run count queries on each of the tables which we have set up as part of this lecture. Now it is time for us to validate products. When it comes to products, it have 1345. When it comes to customers, it have 12435. When it comes to orders, it have 68083. When it comes to order items, it have 172198. This is how you should be able to set up the retail DB tables as well as data in the tables using the scripts that are made available to you as part of Git repository. It is very, very important for you to take care of this so that you can go through the SQL queries which I am going to cover as part of this course.